There are now 3 things standing in the way of Philadelphia finally getting their season somewhat back on track this weekend. The first is a fresh coat of snow at Lincoln Financial Field. Second is a Raiders team currently tanking for next April. The third is a very familiar face. Despite some not-so-promising injury news for the Birds this week, Jalen Hurts and Kevin Patullo sound eager to build upon their best offensive performance, minus the turnovers, in weeks. All while new faces on the Birds' defense look to continue their strong showing this coming Sunday. Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. There are games in every NFL season that are not only must-wins because of a team's spot in the playoff hunt or what happened the previous few weeks, but there are also games against bad opponents quietly tanking for draft picks that become not just must-wins, but must-win while also looking good. And the Raiders coming to Philadelphia on Sunday versus a floundering Birds team is precisely the latter. And while I personally have been very curious to see if Philadelphia would show any signs of giving up this week following the Charger loss, the opposite has 100% been the case, even with some not-so-great injury news right before kickoff. First, though, I wanted to highlight an Eagle-Raider watch party happening this Sunday during the game in Deptford that I think you guys might want to go to because LaShawn McCoy is going to be in attendance. As the guys at Gran Cormino, the official tequila of the Philadelphia Eagles, are hosting the watch party at PJ Wellaghan's in Deptford starting at 12:30. I've been told they're having a live roasting session, which you can actually participate in, that's judged by Shady himself, and the winner is going to get some pretty awesome merch. So again, PJ Wellaghan's in Deptford, 12:30. I'll link it all down below. Shady's going to be there. Say hi to him for me. Have fun on Sunday. Oh, and the Saquon Barkley statue winner, that's also at the end of the day's show, so stay tuned to see if you won. Now, first things first, there was some panic the other day with Philadelphia's injury report, mainly due to the fact that both Lane Johnson and his replacement appeared on it with foot and ankle injuries. And while I personally am a little bit surprised Lane Johnson, he's not going to play on Sunday now because he hasn't practiced all week, mainly because the NFL Network and Lane himself seemingly hinted that this was the target date to return, I honestly think it's the best decision Philadelphia could have made because sitting Lane, along with Jalen Carter, for as long as humanly possible to get them as healthy as humanly possible is obviously the right choice as the playoffs, whether you think Philadelphia's going to make it or not, loom very, very soon. And come on, if Philadelphia can't beat the Raiders or Marcus Mariota's nursing home team twice the next couple of weeks, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs anyway, even if Lane Johnson and JC are not going to play. So get healthy, guys. We'll take care of the rest, or we should. And then if they come back 100% for the playoffs, come on, anything's possible. Either way, though, as I mentioned, Lane, he's not going to play versus Las Vegas. However, the good news on Friday was Lane Johnson, despite being limited on Thursday, he was back out there, confirmed he's going to play. He's ready to roll to hold down that right side.
I was feeling great. I got nicked up, and that led to recovering some things that was like hindering me the last couple of weeks, and got to figure it out. I felt great today at practice. Felt back to my old self. So.
Think you'll play on Sunday then?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing.
And yes, for those wondering, Fred Johnson will match up a lot on Sunday against Maxx Crosby, who, despite missing Wednesday's practice with a knee and shoulder issue, he's been back out there the past couple of days for Las Vegas. He will play, along with the limited Jamal Adams, Jeremy Chin, and Michael Mayer. Both teams are honestly pretty healthy. There's some banged-up guys here and there, but everybody we expect to play is going to play. The real headline, though, as mentioned a couple of days ago, no Geno Smith. It's official. It will be Kenny Pickett against his former team at the Link. And I've actually gone back and forth on this because, sure, on one hand, Geno Smith, he's been so bad this season. I was hoping he would play. Pickett technically could be an upgrade. And yet us Bird fans, we saw Pickett last season, and 99% of us thought Tanner McKee was still the better quarterback. Ask yourself this, is Kenny Pickett really going to roll into possible snowy Philadelphia and dice up the Birds defense that just had 7 sacks of Justin Herbert and had him in hell for 5 quarters in Los Angeles? Again, knock on wood, I don't think so. Still, Vic Fangio did mention during his press conference on Thursday that just because they went against Pickett in practice every day last season doesn't mean they have some sort of secret gouge on him this time around. He's going to be different.
Yeah, obviously we have respect for Kenny. Started a couple years in Pittsburgh. Did well when he had to play for us last year. Obviously saw him on the practice field all last year. I don't think there's a way advantage, just because he was here that we know him. He's in a different offense, running a different scheme. I think all of that's way blown out of proportion.
The good news, though, Philadelphia's pass rush, it's been their strength. They've generated 20 sacks over the past 6 games, including 7, as we know, versus the Chargers on Monday night. And you don't become a 2-11 team like the Raiders are without giving up a ton of sacks by your offensive line. And Raider quarterback's actually been sacked the most of any quarterback in the entire National Football League, or at least tied with Cam Ward. 49 times Raider QBs have been on their backside. Safe to say, Vic Fangio's guys, they should, emphasis on should, be able to get after Kenny Pickett all game long this weekend.
We've improved our rush. Bringing JP in has helped, obviously. as we alluded to earlier. Jordan's improved. We're getting into some more third and longer stuff. Some of the games where our third down numbers weren't good, it was because we had a lot of third and shorts. So I just think it's a little bit of everything, not one thing.
Also, no matter what sport you're actually tuning into this winter, my sponsor Underdog has got you guys covered. Because right now, new customers get an exclusive Gimme Pick to get things rolling. Just use my code Mott when you sign up, and you get that Gimme loaded into your account instantly. And really, here's the main deal. Underdog, it makes it so darn simple. Just pick higher or lower on 2 or more player stats, and you're in the game. Shot to win up to 5,000 extra entry. Plus, multi-sport, it's quick, and honestly, it's just a really fun way to follow the games. And of course, my picks this weekend, I'm riding with the Birds. It's the Raiders. Come on, they should win this one. So, Ashton Genty, lower than 0.5 rush or receiving touchdowns. He's not going to score in this one, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts, higher than 202.5 passing yards. He's another nice day through the air. At Saquon Barkley, he breaks another one higher than 17.5 for his longest rush. Those are my picks this weekend. Oh, and Underdog, it's available in most states, including Florida, California, and Texas. So just use my code MOD to get $75 when you play 5 with Underdog. Now quickly, on the back end, it is worth at least acknowledging the second straight start for safety Marcus Epps, who hardly had his name called last week versus LA, which actually was a good sign because it meant he did not give up any huge mistakes, and I thought, in fact, looked fantastic. Plus, Epps was the starter in Las Vegas most recently, so there's some extra motivation for a solid day from number 39. I personally thought last week Epps played a game compatible with Drew Makuba's best performances this season. I think he has a real chance to cement the starting role the rest of the year with another good game this coming Sunday.
Same stuff, that we've talked about. Good instincts, good experience. He's got a good knowledge of the game, knows how to fit different plays that come up, whether it be in coverage or on the run versus the run game. You can feel his experience, his instincts, and his knowledge when he's out there.
And yet, in reality, if we're being honest, we're not worried about the Raider offense or Kenny Pickett or the Birds defense. The main focus on Sunday at the Link is going to be, can Philadelphia's offense, look competent, move the football, don't turn it over, and actually score some points. Besides winning, all I care about on Sunday is seeing more progress from this offense going forward. Which after 14 weeks, I said a few days ago, it technically looked slightly better against the Chargers. And I say slightly here because they went from a team that couldn't move the football but didn't turn it over and always score in the red zone to a team last Monday night that could move the football and also did turn it over a ton while not being able to score in the red zone. And while yes, that does count as progress, at least according to Kevin Patullo.
It's frustrating when that happens because when you have good drives and you get it going and then you just can't capitalize on it with a touchdown. You come to the sideline, you're excited about the drive and we had good plays, but, ultimately, when we get down in there, we want to score touchdowns. That's the name of the business for us on offense, and it's frustrating.
All jokes aside, though, to defend KP and Nick Sirianni for at least a second here, all the great film breakdown gurus you see on Twitter have acknowledged this week the Charger game plan on offense was the best we've seen all month. They ran the football well, they took their shots down the field, they moved the football consistently, converted on third down, nice throws across the middle, and were a catch or two away from probably winning that game.
But I think there were some positives that came out of that game. We were able to do some different things that we've been pushing towards doing and trending towards at times that showed up and was very encouraging. I think the guys felt pretty good about the things we did well on. They know what we need to fix and kind of continue to grow from, and the plan can keep growing from there, especially this week going forward.
And while, yes, it shouldn't take that long to implement some of the changes we saw this past week, I guess at this point, we shouldn't complain when the changes actually do come, regardless how slow they were to actually get here. Oh, and by the way, if you're worried about Jalen Hurts and how he's going to bounce back against a 5-turnover game versus the Chargers, he doesn't sound worried at all. I think he's going to have a really big game on Sunday afternoon.
The problem about the game is as ugly as it was throughout. I had the opportunity to win it in the end, and so that's what I take a lot of pride in. And I didn't come up for my team.
How do you keep the confidence up despite that?
Wake up the next day, go back to work.
And to put this an easier way for you, in the Raiders' lone win since October 12th, even Cam Ward put up 200-plus passing yards and a touchdown against the Raider defense despite being sacked 6 times. Jalen Hurts is a lot better than Cam Ward, despite what you'll say in the comment section. I know who you guys are. And not even Maxx Crosby, let's be real, is not going to slow him down.
Well, they got a really disruptive front led with Maxx Crosby. And the way he plays, he's all over the field, has a high motor. So definitely got a lot of respect for him. And the linebackers are, I feel, very underrated in how they play and fly to the ball, how physical they are. And so we just, got a good defense in front of us, and we just got to go out there and really find our game and play our game.
As it currently stands, Philadelphia is all but locked into the number 3 seed, or at least that so far is going to be their floor. A win on Sunday, though, keeps them obviously at number 3, but gets them a little bit closer within striking distance of the 2 seed, or if things really fell in their way, the number 1 overall seed. Sunday, as I said at the beginning of today's show, it's not just a must win. They can't win 17-13 and all of us be excited. They have to win and look good doing it, and that means a double-digit victory where the offense doesn't turn it over, moves the football well. That's exactly what I told Josh Davis earlier in the week during our weekly live show. I'm still panicking, but I feel a little bit better. I feel better after this loss than I did after the Bear loss. The Bear loss was nothing. The Bear loss, there was nothing to be excited about. This loss was a championship caliber defense and the best offensive performance we've seen from Saquon Barkley and the passing attack, except for interceptions, which, Jalen wants to throw more interceptions. We're not going anywhere. But if he doesn't, I think the offense might not be Ben Johnson level, but better than it's been. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes. And to make it clear, which we already have in the recap videos and everything else there, but Jalen Hurts is QB1. He's not being benched. The talk from everybody, the reason that it gets thrown out there and the reason that we even say it is because a lot of people on the streams, from the game stream itself, of how many chats, super chats, comments, everything else during it is it time for Tanner McKee? Tanner McKee.
I know.
Jalen Hurts, he's not the answer. Now, he has been really bad. I mean, even the last several games. It's not just that one, but obviously in the Chargers game, he was bad, but I'm right there with you. We say this all the time. The tape tells the story. Like the knee-jerk reaction, emotions, that's fine. We're all there. We can all have moments where it's like, get him out of here. He's done. Not the answer. All this. Then you reflect. You take a day. You take 2 days, and then you look at the film and you kind of see, okay, are there some semblances of life? Is there any sort of optimism? And that's what you saw there. So I do agree that in the sense of what this offense has been, the Chicago game, it looked terrible. And then you watch the film, and it still was terrible. Like there was not much that you could go off of. For this one, you're like, yeah, it was, as you said, poor execution. There's some tipped passes. There's some drops that have happened. Guys that are still not making plays. Offensive line continues to be an issue. Better, but still continues to be an issue. But you look at the layered concepts in the passing game. You look at the routes they threw. It's not all hitches. They ran a lot still, but it's not all hitches. They have play action under center. They have under center just by itself. Like, that is a win. But the fact that they continue to use it and they can see some benefits that come from it, and they have cross routes over the middle of the field, Jalen being willing to take those, there's a lot of positives to come away from that. The question then just becomes, and Anthony and I were talking about the live stream last night as well, do the Eagles coaching staff, Nick Sirianni mainly, but Sirianni and Kevin Patullo, do they look at that and go, oh boy, nope, turnovers, it happened.
I hope not.
It happened.
I hope not.
Let's pull it back. Let's go back into our conservative shell, and we're going to inside zone, and we're going to hitch route, and we at least can't get turnovers. We're going to punt the ball a million times, but we will not turn the football over. I hope not as well, but that is maybe the biggest concern. But if they can find that happy medium, there were still bad instances, bad play calling issues out there, but there were some good parts of it as well. If they can find the happy medium, then I think, we're going to be walking away from it going, okay, we don't have to say they win the Super Bowl, but as you said, just some sort of optimism, a little bit of hope here.
Well, and let's be real. Again, we are not trying to sell you guys. I see that comment right now on a bad product. Right. Philadelphia's offense is still a bad product, but if Philadelphia's offense was 28th in the National Football League versus the Bears, in terms of how bad that game was, and they were 17th versus the Chargers, that's a big enough gap to overcome a lot of sins as long as you don't turn the football over. And as far as Jalen Hurts, let's just get one thing straight here. I'm not sure WIP talked about anything else today besides benching Jalen Hurts. I didn't listen at all, but I saw their social media clips, which is, to me, nuts. Jalen Hurts, though, if there is a criticism, and this is very true of Jalen Hurts, the selling point on Jalen Hurts has always been the stats are not always going to be there. He's not going to throw for 500 yards a game. He's not going to have 4 passing touchdowns. He's not going to do what Josh Allen does or Patrick Mahomes does or Lamar Jackson does, although 2 of those are not doing much this year. Silence from the media still. But he's not going to turn the football over, and he's going to win games. And as long as he does both of those 2 things, I think everybody in Philadelphia, except for the fringe haters who always, want the backup quarterback and want their quarterback to throw for 500 yards, not saying we don't, but you get my point, we're pretty much content. Because last year, he won a bunch of games. He had plenty of stretches, we forget, where they didn't do a lot on offense. A.J. Brown reading the book, and yet in the end, he won all his games. He performed at the brightest stages like he does, and he did not turn the football over. The second that Jalen Hurts stops doing those two things, he starts turning the football over and stops winning games, people will rightfully abandon ship. And if it keeps going the next 4 weeks, we're going to have a real conversation whenever we get to the offseason about the future. I don't think there's any scenario where they move off of Jalen Hurts. I know Jeremy Fowler had a little thing on ESPN today saying maybe they'll draft a quarterback. They probably will because they're going to probably get a king's ransom for Tanner McKee by the New Orleans Saints. Second round draft pick, third, nothing crazy.
Sure, yeah.
I think they definitely draft a quarterback.
But
That's
they
not an
always
indication
do.
They don't want
They
Jalen
drafted
Hurts.
Kyle
Yes.
McCord last year. So,
Yes.
to say the Eagles
Exactly.
will draft a quarterback is like me or you
Yes.
saying Howie will make a call for an edge rusher over the offseason. He's going to call about it all the time. But that's a total fair point.
But basically, the point is, and once Jalen Hurts starts turning the football over and losing a lot more, then everyone can start panicking. But everyone cannot immediately throw the towel in after a couple of bad games when we are less than a calendar year removed from him out-dueling Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl winning MVP. And if you want to type that was last year, it doesn't matter. He's made two of them. There's really only one quarterback in my lifetime to actually make two who was pretty average overall in the regular season, and that was Eli Manning. And Eli Manning still won a ton of games and is still considered one of the better quarterbacks of the 2020s, of the last 20 years, even though, he's not Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. It's hard to make one. It's hard to win one. He's made two so far. And the excuse that he had a super team in 2024 doesn't work in 2022 because that defense was awful. So I will continue to defend Jalen Hurts, but if he continues to lose, continues to throw interceptions, those are the two things that he has to keep on his end of the bargain for me to keep defending him. And I think his leash either way is still very long. Now, of course, plenty more stuff happening in the next couple of days and weeks, including our live stream of the Eagles and Raiders game, which is kind of a bummer because I'd rather be in Deptford, New Jersey, meeting LaShawn McCoy at the Grand Cormino watch party. But again, if you guys want to go, it's going to be a bunch of fun. They've told me all the details. Trust me, you're going to have a good time. I'll link it all down below in the description box. And as we always do at the end of this show, let's announce the winner of the Saquon Barkley To The House collectible statue, which I think looks absolutely fantastic. And that winner was at Tim May. Sorry, I put it up on the screen. You know who you are. Send me a email, link down below, and prove it's you. I'll get this bad boy sent out to you. And hopefully we'll do some more giveaways with these guys because I think this thing is absolutely fantastic. That's basically it. They better win on Sunday. It's that simple. They better look good and win on Sunday. I think they will. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been Thomas Mott Show.